there, and welcome to RizVlOG V3, number 3, episode 3, whatever you want to call it. It's the third one. Today we're going to make beef jerky. That's right, you heard that right. We're making beef jerky. Now, the thing is with beef jerky, you need to put it on a very, very low heat and just let it sit in there. Now, my dad used to make this when I was a kid, and it would be like all night in the oven. Since then, things have improved dramatically, and we have these things called dehydrators. But before we do it, we have to prep the meat. And by doing that, we're gonna make just a tiny little amount of marinade. We don't want too much. We don't want these things soaking in the marinade, drinking up too much of it, because then it takes longer to dry out. We wanna get the flavor on the surface of the meat, and it'll go into the meat because of the acids that we're using. So we're gonna make two different types of beef jerky today. The first one we're gonna make with these ingredients here, that's gonna be kind of a traditional beef jerky. I'm gonna add a little smoke flavor to it. We're gonna use some garlic and make it just kind of a nice meaty, manly beef jerky. And then in the other one here, we're gonna use, I'm gonna make like a teriyaki beef jerky and give it sort of an Asian flavor that goes well as well. So let's get started. We're gonna start off first. I'm gonna do the barbecue one first. I'm gonna start with some freshly ground pepper, and this is a mixture of pepper. This is red, black, there's some white pepper in there. And I'm gonna do just enough into the bowl here. And of course you can always add more. I'm just covering about the bottom of the bowl. Because there's only gonna be about a half a pound of meat in here. And if I need more, I can add more. Okay, now to that pepper, I am gonna add some red wine vinegar. You want vinegar in there. Like I said, that's just like 3 or 4 splashes of that. You want that vinegar in there because the vinegar, let's put another 2, 3, 4, there we go. So about 8 splashes, if you will. We're also gonna use, I've got some garlic and herb. Excuse the interruption, let me finish the sentence the nice man started a few seconds ago. You want to use vinegar in the marinade because the acid in the vinegar will help to tenderize the meat. Okay, that's what I meant to say. Now, back to our show. I don't remember where I got this. I'll be real honest with you. This is Kingsford. It's like the barbecue spice. So I'm gonna put it in. I don't want too much. Don't get carried away. Again, you don't want too much of this. And what I'm gonna add here, this is a really cool thing. This is blue cheese sea salt. I found this on Amazon. I'm like, all right, I'm buying that. It's got a real nice flavor to it. But again, you don't want to use too much salt, but you do want some in there because the salt also helps break down the meat. This is Wright's hickory smoke seasoning. This stuff, when you open it up and smell it, you're just walked into a barbecue shop. This I'm going to be very careful with. I am going to put in just a capful of this. Because too much of this, okay, a capful and a splash. Too much of this can cause a problem, all right? It gets way over smoked and you feel like you're eating a piece of wood, hickory in this case. And then I want just a little bit of fresh lemon juice in there. I'm gonna squeeze a little in there. And I'm gonna mix that up. We're gonna set this off to the side for now. So now we're gonna make the teriyaki sauce. For this one, we're gonna use rice vinegar. This is great on salads. You can use it for sushi. Again, I'm getting just enough in the bowl because it'll give me something to work with. I'm gonna add some ponzu sauce. Now ponzu is just soy sauce. It's got vinegar added to it. In this case, it's got lemon. It's cool because I've got another one here. It's chili ponzu, but that's a little spicier than I want for this because I'm going more for that sweet teriyaki flavor. But if you haven't bought this is a nice alternative to soy sauce. The amount that you're putting in is you just need enough to cover the meat. So I'm gonna put in some splashes there. This is about a half a teaspoon, tablespoon of sugar. And to that, I'm gonna add a little bit more of that lemon. And I'm gonna put in just 5 shots of that fancy salt. Okay, so we're gonna set these aside right now. Now for this, I've got top round, okay, and this was $5.51. It's a little over a pound, okay? I got this at the store right down the street here for me called Marqueton. It's a Hispanic grocery store. And the nice thing about this is top round, so it's a decent cut of meat. It's not, filet mignon, but it's a good cut. And they slice it super thin, which is exactly what you want for beef jerky. Makes sense, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna carefully open this up. Now what I wanna do is I'm gonna take the beef and I'm gonna slice it into strips. And see, look at how nice and thin that is. That is just the right thickness, because when I'm cutting this up, I'm gonna cut this into strips so it basically becomes beef jerky. So I'm gonna go this way with it. If you want to watch, that's okay. This is going to take a few minutes, so I'm going to just shut up and cut it up for myself. Okay? Okay, so I just wanted to show you as I'm finishing up here. I'm trying to cut the pieces so they're about, about that size. It's a nice cut of beef. All right, and because remember, these are going to be sticks of beef jerky. So if I have a piece like that, I'm kind of looking at it. You can decide, okay, I'm going to cut this in half. That makes one nice piece there. And then I'm going to take this one. This one's a little long, so I'm going to cut it in half. Now what I want to do is divide it between the two bowls of marinade. Now I was going to bring over my scale and weigh it and do it. I think I'll just do it this way. One for you, one for you. Okay, now when I started this, again, I only put a little bit of marinade in it. Again, I don't want this drenched in the marinade. But when I put this in here, now I want to take it and I'm going to mix it up. And I want to make sure I'm covering all the meat as much as I can. Bring that up. And now when it gets done, it's mixed up enough that, you don't even see anything in the bottom of the bowl there. If I take my hand away, okay? Because it's all pretty much going on the meat. So there's our traditional beef jerky. And then this guy over here is going to be our teriyaki beef jerky. Okay, now I'm going to take these, I'm going to put them in the fridge, and I am going to come back here in about 3 or 4 hours. So, we'll be right back. Okay, now the meat's been marinating for over 5 hours now. Ideally, you could do it overnight. I think this will be long enough for what we're doing. And you can see most of the liquid has been absorbed. There's very little left in there, and that's good because it's going to dry out basically. And so I'm going to layer these out on the pans. They go step by step, and then we turn it on, and you walk away, and you leave it sit here on the counter. And in 2.5 to 3 hours, we start pulling them off. You should keep an eye on them, however, because sometimes they finish up. Some will finish up quicker because they're thinner and that. So you keep a little container nearby and pull them out as necessary. So let's go ahead and let's get this thing done. All right, well, we're in the last few minutes of this. I'm going to start pulling some of these off. I just wanted to show you the whole tray. There's some that are going to need to stay on for a little bit longer, but we've got some here that are just, there you are, man. So, good. This is the teriyaki one. So give this a try. If you don't have a dehydrator, you can always just put a small rack in the oven, find some kind of grill, some kind of grating, put the meat on there. 160 degrees for, well, you're gonna have to time it out. It just depends how thick the meat is. This has been in for a little over 2 hours. In the dehydrator, but just keep an eye on it. Hope you enjoyed it. RizVlOG V3 coming up next.